$100 and I won $5,000. And I was not sports betting or gambling. My name is Cedar Bruner, and I will be talking to you guys about day trading. Day trading has many different elements and steps that you must consider before and during trading to successfully become profitable. My presentation preview, I will be going over my introduction, discipline and news, entry points, stop loss and take profit, and my conclusion. First, my introduction. My purpose is to educate all of y'all about day trading, and my credibility is I've spent over 2,500 hours on charts and news. I've seen all of TJR's boot camps and videos, and that's his boot camp, and that's TJR leaning up on his Rolls Royce, and he's taught me everything about day trading, and he's like my mentor, kind of. I won over 50 trades, and I am a funded trader. For my first point, I'll be going over discipline and news, and first is knowing when to stop. For example, if you lose a trade, then you don't write down, you don't learn what you did wrong, and then you immediately take another trade and you lose it again. It's just not discipline, knowing like that you could have fixed it. Then a better example is you win a trade, but you don't write down how you won it and why you won it, and you take another trade and you lose because it was just luck the first time. And for the news part, it is looking at the news and knowing that the market is not going to be like, you can't predict it, you can't know what's going to happen because it's just going to be all over the place that day. But still trading because you want money and you just want to win, but you won't win. And so by becoming disciplined, you will be unstoppable in trading, says TJR. Next, I'll be explaining to y'all about all the possible entry points for day trading. First is an order block, liquidity sweep, fair value gap, equilibrium, and a breakup structure. First is an order block, which is basically just a big block that everyone is currently buying and or selling, which creates a enormous block that is just very big. And then it can flip a market just like that too. And then next to the liquidity sweep, which is basically the same as an order block, but it helps you in the long run by looking at the liquidity sweep. You can see like where to buy in later on in the market. And then next is a fair value gap, which uses 3 candles to make one, because you need to look at the middle candle, which has a very high middle wick and a very low bottom wick, which a wick is just the little line coming out from the candle. And so you just need to look at those, but which can later help you determine if the market is going to bounce off of the fair value gap and go in the opposite direction, which it most likely will. And equilibrium is basically just you didn't buy in at the correct time that you should have bought in, and so you can buy back in later and you still win, but you just won't get as much profit as you could have if you bought in at the beginning. And lastly is a breakup structure, which is when the market is demanding the stock to go up and or down, and which is in the opposite direction, which automatically flips the market in a totally different direction. And for whenever you enter a trade, you need to have at least 3, most likely 4 of these entry points if you want to be successful. And TJR also says a breakup structure is a movement up and then down. And then for my last point, I'll be telling you all about stop losses and take profit. And the stop loss is the red part of the big chunk, and that is you just put your stop loss above the liquidity sweep because your bias, if your bias is right, then the price will not go back above that stop loss or under the stop loss because you were right, hopefully. And if you weren't, you didn't lose much money because your stop loss was so small and you just lost a little bit of money. But once the chart goes above the stop loss or under the stop loss, it just takes you out of the trade and you don't lose much money. But for the take profit is the green part, and it's a lot bigger than a stop loss because if you're right about the trade, then it will go way above that or below that, and you will get taken out immediately once it goes above or below that, and you will make a lot of money, and it won't make you greedy and want more. And then, lastly, I'll review my main points and closing statement. For For my purpose, I hope all of you guys have learned something and gained the information you need to understand day trading after hearing my presentation. Reviewing my main points, today I've gone over discipline and news, entry points, and stop losses and take profit. Remember that being disciplined is the most important thing when it comes to day trading. You must know the 5 entry points, which is order block, equilibrium, fair value gap, liquidity sweep, and break of structure. And then you must know where to set your stop losses and take profit. So yes, it is very possible to earn $5,000 off of one singular trade and more. And that's it.
Very nice, thank you.